Hello there, you lucky people. JJ Revival here, lead guitarist for Stapled Shut, and welcome to my part 2 of how I run my kit and how, obviously, I play and how I get my sounds on that. So, the first part of the video, for about 10 more seconds, I really just want to give a quick audio just so you know what this guitar sounds like. And if you're wondering what guitar I'm playing, because you don't know yet, this is White Lightning. White Lightning is my first, and the White Lightning is my #1 guitar. I use this for pretty much everything. In the studio, if you ever hear any of the really old demos and that, which I doubt anyone will hear, in the really old demos and that of us in our first time in the studio when we recorded a song called Mystery, this was actually my first time probably using this guitar properly. So yeah, and so let's get, I'm just going to give you 10 seconds worth of audio, just so you can hear what the guitar sounds like at different, obviously, spots. And then I'm going to run into how my amp works and how my floor pedal works as well, so you guys can get a feel for how I play and what my sound is like. So anyway, without further ado, here's the audio from the guitar. So that there's like a nice choke. It's really deep choke as well, but it's quite airy as well. If any guitar players out there obviously know how to tell the difference between so yeah, it's quite an airy guitar, I must say. It's quite, yeah, it's very nice. I really like this guitar. Anyway, time to take this off and show you guys how my I run my rigs. Well, when I say rigs, I mean my floor pedals and my amplifier as well. I'm going to show you guys all the way through that in this video. So basically, what I do is, I don't know if you guys can get a very good look and see what I do. Oh, it's not that good, is it? Hang on, let's try and rest it on the ride here. No, it's going to fall. So. Okay, I can lift the thing up. So obviously you can see my drum kit and that. So basically, what we have here is you've got in this box here is your channel. This is what basically sound you want to get, and that links with the amplifier, which I'll get to in a minute. Over here, as the writing's actually all backwards, which is great from your point of view, but it's actually forwards from my point of view. Over here you've got your FX loop. This basically allows you to get any weird and crazy sounds out of your guitar. God, this is heavy. So if you want something that's kind of weird, kind of sadistic almost, that's your FX loop. Stomp adds a little bit of kick to the gain in the amp as well. It just gives it a little bit of a boot up the backside, just one level up, like your 11. If anyone that's watching this has ever seen Spinal Tap, that's your 11. That's what Stomp does. Your comp mod gives you an even freakier sound to what the FX loop does. It basically just one-ups that basic if you want it. The delay over here basically gives you the time between when you're playing your note, when you stop the chord. So, for example, if you were to do a bum and then the amp would repeat it back to you. That's if you've got delay enabled. And reverb is kind of like if you want almost a bass in there. It's not a bass as such, but it's a deeper sound in the amp as well. And so obviously you're probably wondering, what the fuck is this? This is what I use to control my my sound on my board as I'm sitting down in the studio or whatever. I can flip this up and down as and when I want it. If I press this down hard enough, I actually get a wah wah, which makes it go wah, a wah wah. So as you're playing this thing, there's wah wah. So yeah, that's pretty much. And then obviously you've got at the bottom here, you've got your different channels. This button here that's flashing, that is just my tuner. So if I want to hold that down, I can tune my guitar from my amp. Channel B is the channel I have selected at the moment. Channel B is obviously Bad Horsey, which is it's not too overgain, but it's just right. It's kind of like an AC/DC kind of mixed sound to it. I really like it as well. Channel A, B, C, and D all have different settings. B is my my midway channel. A is my full-on shred delay. So if I'm really playing quite fast, aggressive guitar and I want shit tons of overdrive, sorry, that's what I have for that. Channel C is like a mellowy kind of sleepy psychedelic channel, and D is just my clean channel as well. And all these affect the amplifier, which I'll show you in a minute. So, and obviously in the bank over here, which don't suppose you guys can see, basically that allows me to cycle up and down in the to choose what settings I want. Because I can get different sounds for obviously each one. So moving on to my amplifier. And on my amplifier, I've got many lovely things to show you. So if you're wondering what make my amp is a Flextone 3 module 3 amp, and it costs. I bought it for around about 600 quid. It's very good for its money, pedal board included. I haven't had this brand new. This is a second-hand amp, but obviously it's a fucking amazing amp, and I absolutely love this amp to bits. If you guys can see that, you probably can't because it's too dark. Jesus Christ. Okay, well, you've got your master volume, which basically allows how low or quiet you want your amp to be. You've got your comp mod, sorry, which is what I was explaining earlier. I'm really going to try and make it so you guys can see. That's better. There we go. So obviously you got your master there, you got your comp mod there, you got your delay here, which is what I was saying earlier, and you're probably wondering, what are these? With these little lights and shit. These are actually what is part of the comp mod. So if I wanted, for example, a phaser sound, like in Star Trek or Star Wars, goes pew, pew, I can actually do that with my guitar. And what you probably don't realise is in a lot of these TV shows, these effects are actually done with guitars, and they've just bolted the actual effects onto the amp, and they're played obviously by guitars. As you can see, I have comp mod and gate enabled on my amp as well, which just gives me that kind of AC/DC weird sound that I have on my pedal board, and I can actually turn that off, and I can change as well. As you guys, where's the camera? There's the camera. So if you guys can see, possibly, let's get the camera right over it. No, okay. But yeah, I've got channels up. There you go. I have channels up the top here. Channel A, B, C, and D, and I can switch those. The same channels on my pedal board as well. If I can draw your attention down here, then we've got obviously our reverb, our volume, our presence, our treble, our mid, and our bass, and our drive as well. So I'm going to go through each and every one of these. Your drive is basically how much gain you have on the amp. So there you go. There's your drive, kind of there, and then you've got your bass here. Your bass obviously allows you how deep or how high pitched you want it. I don't actually have a lot of bass. I have my drive set to about 4, my bass to about 3. I have my treble my mid quite high. Actually, I have my mid on about 8. My treble's on about 9.5. Well, basically the mid allows not too much bass, but not too much treble as well, just in case you want, I've got mine kind of more trebly set than bass set, just because that's just preference. Treble, obviously, as I explained earlier, gives you a more airy sound than the bass does, or the reverb, and I balance that out quite nicely. The presence is just how long you want the sound to stay for. If you want a long presence, then it will fade out, but if you don't, if you want it nice and sharp, then obviously I'd keep it quite low. I have my presence set to just before midway, just to give it, a decent amount, but not too much. You don't want too much. Volume, I've got everyone gets confused with the volume. The volume is not the amount of the amps giving out. That's your master over here. Your volume is how much that you want your thing to be there for. So if you want your sound coming out 100 miles an hour straight in your face, you want really high volume. If you want it coming out at about right, you want it about mid, I have it about mid. Or if you want it, kind of dead, just really quiet and dull, then I'd have the volume set to 1 or 2. The reverb, as I said obviously earlier, is just how much backtracking you want, or how deep you want your sound. And obviously, finally, over here on the modules, if I can get, that's it, this little dial here, you're probably thinking, what the hell is this? This allows me to choose from about 1,000 different settings. Each one of these settings has about 2 or 3 on it, plus the settings in the bank as well, which is about 9. So yeah, I can actually, when I press this, as you can see, it goes green, red and green. Basically, I can choose that as the setting I want, but then switch it to a different sound, which is quite confusing, but I'll probably show you it at a later date. So yeah, I've got obviously loads of different settings. I can have a really, really high-pitched gain sound, or I can have a really low-pitched kind of jazz sound as well, depending on what sound I want from my amp. And that's pretty much it. That's all I've got to show you guys today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I certainly have, talking about my equipment, because I can go on forever. As you can see, it's like 10 minutes worth of audio. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, leave a comment. JoJo Revival out. See you later.